Alright, welcome back to my Resident Evil 2 knife-only guided walkthrough. In the previous episode we finished the police station part of the game and we had our first boss encounter. The upcoming sections are a lot more straightforward, as there's a lot of walking and exposition. However, there are two boss fights in this episode. And regarding the first one, I have to say I'm a bit frustrated. Because for the sake of this guide, I wanted to show you how to take care of the alligator fight without taking any damage. Because I know this can be done, and in a rather consistent way in fact. But as far as I can tell, not in this version. I know it works in the original Japanese version, as the bosses are weaker and move a lot slower. And perhaps it works in some other versions as well, I don't know. But trust me, in my test run I've reloaded my game over and over again to keep redoing this fight. And the alligator simply doesn't move the way he is supposed to. So unless I'm missing something, in the first edition of the PS1 version, which is the version I'm using, you just cannot use that same strategy that allows you to do it without getting hit. So all I can show you is how to do enough damage to the alligator before you would automatically die when you reach the locked door. You will take damage yourself in the process, but it will get the job done at least. By the way, as you saw, I did pick up a blue herb, but to be honest, there is virtually no chance of getting poisoned to begin with. All the sections with spiders can pretty much be safely traversed if you just keep running and don't stop for anything. Oh, and make sure you bring the valve along from your item box. You're going to need it to turn the bridge later on.
Who are you? Oh, I see. Another spy sent by Umbrella, right? Let me guess. You're here to steal my husband's G-Virus, aren't you? You are tenacious, I'll give you that.
Husband? Then you must be Annette. Sherry's mother?
What?
Sherry's wandering around alone in the sewers. You have to help me find her.
That's impossible. I told her to go to the police station. What's she doing here? William will be after her.
William?
That's right. The creature that's been causing all this destruction is none other than my own husband.
This way.
It's sheer perfection. My precious G-Virus. No one will ever take you away from me.
There he is.
So you finally come.
Doctor, we're here to collect the G-Virus sample.
Sorry, but I won't just hand over my life's work.
Stop! You might hit the sample. That's it, all right. Okay, let's move out.
William! Oh my! Hold on, darling. I'm taking care of that bullet wound first. Stay here.
Alpha team, have you retrieved the sample yet?
Affirmative. We'll be at the rendezvous point in 1 minute.
Roger.
Are you telling me that he injected the G-Virus into his own body?
The G-Virus has the ability to revitalize cellular functions.
What was that? Something's wrong. Let's check it out. Over there! Shoot! Eat this, you freak! The guns aren't stopping it! What is this thing? Hurry! What is this thing? Fire! Fire! You son of a...
So those rats were the carriers of the virus?
As a result of his virus-induced transmutation, William should have lost any prior memories he had as a human by now. I tried to save him, but I'm afraid it's already too late.
But
And that's not even the entire story. Every G-Virus bioweapon, including William, has the ability to implant embryos into other life forms. That's why he's after Sherry.
what are you trying to say?
The bodies of individuals with non-related genetic coding are likely to reject the embryo, but since Sherry is his daughter, that possibility is non-existent. It's an inherent survival instinct.
It's Sherry. You go that way.
Okay, so now you need to use the valve to bring the bridge down, and then once you cross it, you need to bring it back up again. Because we're going up a level after beating the boss, and given that there are herbs here, and the fact that there is a boss fight coming, make sure that you are at full health, because I said I am going to take damage in this fight. Now, the way the Alligator Boss works is that he's crawling through a tunnel, and you need to stay in front of him. He can push you away, which will cause damage, but if there's no room at all, then you will die automatically. The door at the start is automatically locked for some reason, so if you didn't do enough damage to the alligator when you are forced all the way back to that door, you will die automatically as well. So in simple terms, this is a DPS fight, but not one in which you can just stay in place, because that will either get you crushed or you will get stun locked for too long.
Sherry!
So here's at least how you can do it. Run back around the corner and stand next to the light. Then get as much damage in until he starts roaring. Then run back to the gas canister. As you'll see, he will just push me away. He is simply moving too fast. So start stabbing again and just accept taking a hit. But of course, make sure you heal yourself if your life is in the danger zone. Now I make a mistake, unfortunately. You can keep stabbing him until you see him put his left paw against the wall. Because then you need to run back, but unfortunately I acted too late. And then you literally just need to keep on stabbing him, because if he doesn't die at this point, you will. Well, technically he doesn't die at all, but you know what I mean. Well, there you go. It's not the best way, but it does get the job done at least.
Come on, wake up, Sherry.
My stomach. It hurts.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. Come on, let's go.
Okay, the next sections are extremely straightforward. You need to get the second medallion, as Sherry had the first one, and the only enemies you encounter are zombies that don't even get the chance to attack before you leave the area, and pretty much the same applies to the spiders. The only thing to keep in mind is that if you leave Sherry too far behind, she will actually stay in place. So in essence, be fast, but don't stay too far ahead of Sherry. Alright, the next sections are a bit tricky, because we're going to move through narrow corridors with quite a few enemies. However, in the first section, there's basically only one zombie in your way. So it's simply most effective to stab that one zombie. But don't first hit the wall 2 times, because if I were a little less lucky, it would have taken 4 or 5 hits instead of 3. Remember that the number is not consistent. Now in the second section you don't have time to use your knife, as 3 zombies are in your way. So you need to do a tricky zigzag by running towards the opposite wall and then immediately sticking to the left after you turn around the corner. Okay, save your game, get rid of the valve, and then after getting the key from inside the train, it's already time for another boss fight.
My stomach hurts.
Hang in there, Sherry. Your forehead's burning up. I've got to hurry before the embryos pupate.
Now, as intimidating as this boss may look, he is actually really easy to take down with a knife. The key to this fight is to constantly walk backwards in order to stay 1 or 2 steps out of his reach. Because all he will do is a sideswipe attack, or he starts growling. He will swipe at you even if you are 1 step beyond his reach, meaning that you can counterattack after he misses. But what's even better is that if you are 2 steps beyond his reach, he will almost always start doing this taunting growling thing, which is not even an attack. So when he does that, all you need to do is take a step forward, counterattack and walk backwards again. And ironically, doing this is much easier after you've taken some damage. Because when your life is yellow or below, your backwards walk becomes slower. And it's precisely the right speed to stay 1 or 2 steps ahead of him. When you are at full health, meaning at full speed, it's a lot trickier to keep the right amount of distance. Now there are 2 factors to keep in mind in this fight. The camera, as usual, you don't always see what you are doing, or it can be hard to see how much distance there is between you and the boss. And once there is no room behind you, you need to get behind him and then it's the same route backwards. Just keep repeating this until he's dead. And again, it really doesn't take as many hits as you would expect. Okay then, that wasn't so bad, but when he returns at the end of the game, it's really not going to be this easy anymore.
Sherry.
Uh, 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 Claire?
Oh, you're finally awake.
Isn't this...
That's okay. You keep it. I'm sure it'll keep you safe.
Thank you, Claire. Even though I'm an only child, neither of my parents ever spent much time with me because of their work. I grew up alone, but now that you're with me, I finally have someone to rely upon.
Sherry. Rest here for a bit. I'll be right back, as soon as I found the antidote for you.
We're getting close to the end already. This is the final area of the game. Make sure you are back at full health, and then the first order of business is to get the power back on. No big deal though, there are no enemies in our way at this point. Alright, when you open the shutter, there are two plant enemies behind them, and if you move quickly, you can push yourself behind them on the left side. Once you get outside, there's another plant, but it has its back turned to you, so it's pretty safe to pick up the herbs behind it. Okay, the next room is really tough to get through without taking a hit. There are 3 lickers in this section, different variety, but they act the same. So by now you should know how to get past a single one, but especially because of the camera angle and the likely event that the other twos will be blocking your path, I'd say just push through and accept it if you take a hit. Unfortunately, we'll be going through this section multiple times. Okay then, that will be the end for today. Next episode we're going to finish this playthrough, and unlike its previous form, the final version of Birkin on Scenario A is not going to be that easy. So please leave a like and subscribe for more, and stay tuned for the final episode.